Bjarke?
Yes, hello?
Okay, fine, thank you. Yeah, it's working fine.
Okay. Okay, excellent. I think
we will be sharing your presentation.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
Well, just a few remarks in the beginning. I think it's a very positive thing that the EU has taken activity up on litter, because litter is not part of any policy areas, which is a pity, I think. And hopefully this is the first step to have litter being part of any policy area. So that's a nice thing. Having said that, we as an organization, however, would very much like to see next year's activities to be called a European Litter Prevention Week rather than a cleanup day or cleanup activities. And the reason for that is that we as an organization basically think that cleanup activities are of limited value. And in fact, we have decided not to have any large-scale cleanup activities in Denmark without connecting them with educational material for school children and so forth, because that's really where the added value is. For this year's cleanup activities, we decided to focus on beaches and harbors, which means that we will do a clean beach day and clean harbor days, but on the 10th of May actually. But the added value of that activity in our aspect is actually to use the Marine Litter Watch app, and as Constanza and Alberto talked about, and we look very much forward to testing that and to gain knowledge, which means that we can, on a more enlightened ground, focus on marine litter in the coming years. Now, as an example for Denmark, I have tried to make a point in not taking a cleanup campaign that we do, but rather taking a litter prevention activity, because I think that's of much more value, and we hope to, see a focus on litter prevention in 2015. So, what I'll give you a presentation of is what do you do if you would like to do a behavioral change campaign and have no money? And this is one concept that we run at very, very low cost at what will hire outsource. And next slide, please. Could I have the next slide, please? Yes, excellent. Just a short note about Keep Denmark Tidy. It's a program in the Danish Outdoor Council, and we do not receive any funding from public authorities. We would like to, but we don't. Our activities are funded by members. It's funded by royalties and by project finance. And we basically need to reduce the amounts of litter in Denmark. We use partnerships a lot to reach our goals. We use the partnerships to get knowledge, but also to help us to be hands and feet in campaigns and to fund activities. And I know we are way behind schedule, so I think I'll just rush through the slides. So next, please. This is just a short overview of what are the campaign concepts and content. What's very important, I think, in having a national campaign that are supposed to change behavior is that you are very specific on the knowledge you need to prepare your campaign. And for that reason, we each year conduct litter counts and litter analysis, and in this case, litter along the road. We do analysis on who is littering and why do they do it and what could make them stop do it. And we do that to identify our targets, as the next point says. What are the target groups and how do we communicate to that target group? And we also use the knowledge to attract partners and funding. Now, specifically for this campaign along the roads, we identified that the drivers that were driving in excess of 30,000 kilometers each year were the ones that littered most. And that was our main target group. The other target group are children, in the sense that children are very good to make parents behave well when they sit in the car. So they are an additional target group of value. And point 3 in setting up the campaign was that we decided to invite all project partners to be part of the concept and concept development. The reason we did that was, well, basically because we didn't have a lot of money to develop and do the campaign, but bringing the partners in from early on, stating that would you like to be part of developing this concept, made it possible to identify what were they able to pay in cash and what activities could they do on site themselves, being project partners using hands and feet and outdoor medias, which ended up with a campaign cost that has low cost and high output. The elements of the campaign were large posters on outdoor media platforms at all partner places, handout materials which were pocket bags and pocket ashtrays to give people a solution in hand for their litter, collect their litter and bring it to a garbage can. We started the campaign with having an event with the Minister of Transportation. Could be Minister of Environment as well, but we chose the Minister of Transportation. I think it's a very good thing to have a minister in a relevant area to shine on the campaign and start the campaign with doing that. We had media partners covering the aspect in the campaign period. We created a toolbox for participating companies for them to have their own material to hand out at local level, and we do toolboxes for local authorities that would do their own site campaign in their municipality in the campaign period. We also spent time afterwards to do some impact assessment to see what worked and what did not work of the material, and did people actually get the message and things like that. Next slide, please. And the next slide will show you an overview of the project partners. And hopefully it will come up in a few seconds. But generally you could divide the project partners in the ones that has the roads, which means the road directorate in Denmark that are the public authority on that, and their subcontractors taking care of removing litters. What they did was that they made posters to put up along the motorways with the message that was created in common. And what they also did was to use the social media and to present the knowledge to the drivers and to the workers to spread the message. And I wonder if the slide will come up soon. Another part, a project partner that was very useful was gas stations along the road net. So when you went to a site parking area to either to fuel or to buy something to eat and drink in your car, you would get the message at that point, and they would also use the outdoor media to communicate the campaign message and have posters for doing that. And they also had handout materials. I think one important aspect of the first and the second group, which applies to all groups actually, was that the production of any campaign material, of all campaign material, are being paid for by the partners themselves, which means that we had very, very little investment in it, and the cost of producing material and put it up and take it down once the campaign was over was all being funded by the partners themselves. Yes, here we go. We have could you go back just one step, please? Yes. I did the McDonald's Denmark Coffee or Shell QA were the ones connected to the roadnet I talked about. The third group of partners were organizations and companies. Business Denmark is organizing the salesmen that drives around, and they are the ones that drive along 10 kilometers. It was ITP truck organization organizing all the truck companies. SDM is the United Danish Motorists with test centers. Audi is the car brand. And the return deposit scheme in Denmark. Now, what they all did was that they were also using whatever outdoor media platforms they had messages on back of the trucks driving around, and again doing posters, delivering handout materials at test centers and so forth. And the media partners were a brand company that in kind gave us a lot of hours for creative work and communication set up, and we had a radio program in the campaign period. Each day in the campaign period, they would run competitions on behalf of this campaign and talk about degradation signs and so forth, and about not throwing litter out of your car window. And the local authorities were the last ones. They all got a toolbox with handouts and posters. Again, they paid for that themselves. Can I have the next slide, please? So we did sort of a mess on this project. We brought it last autumn, and what we put in for funding in cash was just €3,000. That was the cost for Keep Denmark Tidy. Direct costs for participating companies were only €15,000 in the sense that there were some development costs that had to be put in cash, but the rest were actually either direct costs at the campaign partners or in-kind contribution, which means them putting up material, doing things, saying things, handing out things, and buying their own material, which was an estimated total of €500,000 to run the campaign. We had a media coverage of €1 million, and through an analysis, we could see that 20% of the Danish population had seen and gotten messages of that campaign, which we think is a really nice level of getting out. And we handed out 75,000 kits. So that's just a short example of how to run a large campaign without having too much funding to do it, actually. And I think we are way over time, so I'll stop here and take questions if any have.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation on how to organize big campaigns with low figures, with no money. Now, at the floor is open to questions for this last presentation of this